Hello there, scrappy friend. Suzanne here in the studio today to talk about the Flower Shop line from Close to My Heart. This is one of the core paper lines in the August 22 to July 23 catalog. As you can see here, it's got beautiful colors in it. We've got ballerina, flamingo, raspberry, sapphire, capri, sage, pine, avocado, honey butter, and white daisy. Beautiful, beautiful patterns. And because it's a core paper line, you get more paper than in the quarterly catalogs. Here we have 6 different pieces of paper, all double-sided. You can see the patterns here. We have a sticker sheet. We have embellishments. The white and pink are acrylic, and the navy or sapphire and wood grain are die cut. We've got the coordinating cardstock. And then we're also going to be using this floral bloom stamp and die cut set. Okay, let me give you a quick look at all of them. Here are the instructions for the scrapbooking and card making workshop. I'm going to see if I can get an extra layout or page or two from the scrapbooking workshop, and then if I have any leftovers that I can get a few of the cards out of, I will do that as well. Here again we have those pretty papers. They also asked for the workshop that you have some inks, the flamingo, the raspberry, the capri, and the avocado. All right, move these aside, move the papers aside. Remember, Close to My Heart cardstock always has the natural color on one side and then a lighter version on the other. And then let's do a close-up real quickly of the papers. First, we have this beautiful floral in the flamingo and ballerina colors and raspberry. On the opposite side of that, oh, we have these pretty field flowers. Then we have this lovely avocado mini grid paper. Beautiful honey butter zigzag paper. This stunning floral on the sapphire background. Just look how the avocado pops against the flamingo and raspberry. Very pretty. On the opposite side of that, we have this iconic paper. This is really pretty. This also matches the stamp in the other stamp set that I didn't mention, but there's a border stamp set that has this pretty flower stamp in it. And next up, we have this pretty stripe. On the reverse of that, we have a diagonal stripe. Here we have another floral in a little bit smaller scale. All the colors, the honey butters and the pinks with the sapphire leaves. And on the opposite side of this, oh, I love this daisy paper. Isn't that pretty? Then, of course, we've got a beautiful capri background with white dots. And on the other side of that, we have this navy with a little 4-dot pattern. And then the beautiful sticker sheet. Isn't this pretty? I like to point out that Close to My Heart has started giving us 2 of the long strips. When they give us a border strip, they've started giving us 2, and I really like that. Okay. I will be back very shortly with some layouts. Stay tuned. Okay, I'm back with the layouts. I want to do a quick run through of the cutting instructions just to show you what changes I made. I was able to get 3 extra pages. I made their single into a double, and I had a double layout of my own. Alrighty, shall we get started? Okay. First of all, on this sapphire floral paper, you're going to have a 6x12 left over, so you can use half of that, a 6x6, for our extra page 4. on this honey butter chevron paper, instead of cutting the 7x8 out of the corner, I cut it from the center. I used a Cricut, but you could hand cut it too. So that worked out well. Over here, again, on the honey butter floral paper, you've got a lot of scrap left here, so it's no problem to get another 6x6 for the extra page 4 here. Okay, then here, I found how she cut this confusing. I think it would be easiest to cut at the 4.5 inch here, and then you're able to get all of these little pieces out here, and then you would have a very big piece here, 7 3/4 by 6 1/4, and then I use that to get two 6 1/4 by 4 1/4 mats out of this large piece of paper. Okay, here on the sapphire cardstock, you're cutting a 10.5 by 10.5 square out of the middle, and then after I got that cut, I cut it down to a 9.5 by 9.5 for my extra page 4. Okay, then this one, I found this confusing as well. Cut your 8x8 out of your daisy, white daisy from here, and then you should be able to get all of these out of this piece. And then I used a 9 from 9 from this piece of white daisy. That's still going to give you quite a bit of scrap for die cutting. And, you know, white scrap's always something you probably have in your stash anyway, so why not use the big pieces for the big mats that you need for the extra layout page. Okay. The other thing is, on putting this together, there's a couple of sheets, a couple of pieces of 4.5 by 3/4 here that I almost missed. It looks like it's a misstep on the instructions. So I just wanted to point that out to you. When you trim this, love this. It says to trim it. That's actually a 1.5 circle. So if you have a 1.5 inch circle punch, you can punch that out. Okay, so there are the instructions, and then here, this is kind of, it's not very pretty, but I'll take a picture of this and put it on my blog. I might even try and clean it up a little bit, but as we go through the 5th layout, I'll kind of explain to you how that is put together from your scraps, okay? Let's start with the layouts. Here's the first one. This is done pretty much as to spec. I love these beautiful acrylic embellishments. These are so pretty. I really like those. I did this pretty much as she said. The only difference I did is she was using 3 white dots here of the Liquid Pearls White Onyx. And instead of doing that, I did them in the same little pattern as the white dots in the paper. So that's one of those things where you're echoing something already on the paper. Just a nice little design detail. Here and here. Sometimes I pop up these big titles and sometimes I do not. It was also fun on this page. We did a little stamping on cardstock in order to make our own paper. This is such a great stamp set, and I had quite a bit of cardstock left over. So I can see using several of these to make my own pattern paper out of cardstock. I know this is a little bit pricey for a Stampin' Thin Cut set, but there's 17 individual images and every single one of them has a thin cut. So I'm looking forward to using this with other florals because I'm sure we're going to see some of those images again. Okay, here we go. That's page 1, layout 1. Here is layout 2. This one was fun as well. This one is also done to spec, except for a couple of exceptions. They had white parentheses here and here, and I just didn't like it. For some reason, it was too much contrast between this honey butter. So I happen to have the VIP acrylic shapes. That's just one of the benefits of being a VIP, was they were offering those VIP shapes. So I used yellow here for the dot of the eye, for a heart here, and for a little flower here. And then because I had used the white acrylic here, I did find the other arrow and I put it here. For their journaling strips, they did, I believe, 3 white strips. Instead, I decided to make my journaling strip echo my sticker. So that's another way. I talk about echoing a lot, you know, so repetition is good. Repetition with variation is even better. Okay, again, we have the white onyx pearls here. And then I did something that I'm not sure I like. I put them in the center of these blue flowers too. And while it looked okay here in this one, in these, it sort of has that sunken shape. And I don't know whether it's because this is a very shallow die cut, whereas I could get the volume here. I could get the upward dimension here. Here it just kind of flattened out. So I'm not really sure I like that. It dries with a bit of a sunken look. So there's just a little tip on that. I do love them just in lieu of dots though. They're super easy. And they dry quicker than you think. Okay, here's layout 3. Again, this one is pretty much to spec. We had lots of fun with these 2x2 squares, cutting them on the diagonal. Very, very fun. On this one, I actually had in my stash, I had just come across because I was cleaning out some drawers, this little light gray hand-drawn line embellishment card. I cut it down from a 3x4 to go there. They already had some nice typed journaling on their page, and I thought, oh, that would look great there for handwriting it. And then we've got a little bit down here as well. But when you want a longer story, these are always nice. So I added an extra little bit of flowers there by stamping a couple of more images. Very, very fun. Do you spot the repetition with variation here? We have 3 hearts here, and we have 3 hearts here. The same, but different. Okay, there we go. All right, now we are to the 4th layout. And like I said, this is the one where I stretch their single into a double. First, putting down the striped papers, top and bottom. To be honest, I actually did them like this and put down these 3 papers first. And then I turned this upside down. And then I did a double border strip in the middle. She had a single, but I thought it needed a little more of this yellow pulled in too. Now I did not have 2 full strips, so I believe this one is just partial strips on each side. I probably could have saved a whole lot more if I'd done that on both, but I just did it on the one. She had words all the way around this, and I'm sorry, I just thought that was too busy for my personal taste. So instead, I did beautiful and lovely over here, and then I did memories and cherish always over here. As far as embellishments, I just moved things around and then added in a few extra flowers. We've got the flower stickers here. Here, this piece of acrylic is from the VIP shapes again, but you do have the wood grain. I just thought that was too much wood grain altogether. I guess you could have put this flower up here and put the wood grain camera down here maybe. Or you could take the wood grain camera and flip it over, and then it would have, it's white on the back, so you could just color that with a marker. So there's a couple of other ways you could do that. This little heart too, I believe, is also from the VIP shapes. So I really like how this turned out because we've got these bright pinks going below and above here. Very, very fun. Again, for repetition with variation, here we have arrows on this one, and here we have flowers on that one. Okay, that left me to my 5th layout. And I really, really liked this white floral paper with the white background. I just liked how bright that was and happy and sweet. So, as you can see, I had a full sheet of that, and that is the base for my left-hand side. And then on top of that, I have the green zip strip. I have a 2-inch piece of this blue and white, which I believe was a scrap that I had left over. Then I have a 5-inch piece of this chevron. And then that leaves me with 2.5 inches over here of background. On this page, this is the one that was the cutout. So the first thing I put down is this 10-inch piece of, this 10-inch piece of floral right down the middle. And then I started working my way this way. Here, I put the green strip, the zip strip. Then this flower here looks like it's a full sheet, but it is not. It was a 6x6 that I had left over, so I cut it into 2 3x6s and put it at the top and bottom. And then that leaves me 2 inches showing of my flower, and then another inch of my background on both sides. Okay, then this strip here is 6 3/4 inches square. And then I've got 4 3x3s. Over here, I actually cut this as a 6 1/4 by 4 1/4, and I wish I had done it 6 1/2 by 4 1/2. So I actually have cut down my photo here because I think you want these to look similar. You want them to have a nice wide border on them. So that's something to keep in mind. Otherwise, I just used the In Bloom and some flowers. These dark blue hearts are just a punch from my stash that I was able to get 3 hearts punched from the negative, the leftovers of the sapphire die cuts. So that was easy enough. I was down to hardly any stickers at this point, as you can see. So the Love Grows Here, In Bloom, Love Grows Here, and the Family Ties, I gave these a little more oomph by putting them on some scraps of that nice striped paper. And then I added this sticker and a little bit of the leftover border that was here. Speaking of borders, here's the border between the borders. So if that was just that skinny strip between 2 of the regular size, if you were able to actually conserve enough on that prior layout, just using teeny tiny pieces of it, then I would have gone ahead and taken, if you had a full one of these left, I would have put the full 12 by 12 sticker along here. I think that would have looked great as well. Okay, so that's that. I did add the white acrylic parentheses in here because I like the way it kind of grouped this. And then this white acrylic shape, because I wanted acrylic on both sides, was from my stash. That was in just some of the acrylic hearts that Close to My Heart sell separately. So I felt very good about this workshop. Sure, I could have probably cut up these last papers even more and stretched it to another layout, but I was really pretty much out of stickers. As you can see, a lot of my embellishments here are stamped flowers. Here's all I had left on the stickers, and that's not much. So I'm happy to add those 5 pieces of cardstock back into my stock, and I'm really happy with how these layouts turned out. Okay, I hope you find that useful. Check out my blog post for the details. Let me know what you think in the comments. As always, I appreciate your time and attention. See you back here soon. Bye for a bit. Oops, how about a little postscript? I forgot about the cards. I used the card making workshop for Flower Shop as my inspiration. I was able to get some cards in Design 1 and in Design 4. I didn't really have any of these other papers left. So I also didn't use this cute stamp set they have. So I needed some Get Well cards, so I went to this stamp set called Rustic Signed Sentiments. This was in the last catalog. I don't know if it might still be available online or not, but I really like that Get Well Soon, and that's something I always use a lot of. So let's look at my cards. Okay, in design 1, here is the first one. Now this doesn't have the dark blue. This has a different pattern here on the circle. It's actually the reverse of this background paper. We've got our little 1-inch circles scalloped. So that's pretty cute. And then we've got the wood grain flowers embellishment pack, which went with this workshop wow, and I had that on hand as well. Here I just actually flipped the 2 patterns over. I flipped them both. This turns out really cute as well. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. Okay, then let's go to the next one. Okay, here you can see those are the same 2 patterns, but here we've got 3 panels, 2 inches, and then these are each 1.5, I believe. And then we've got this sort of crossbar. And then you'll notice here, they had a much thinner line and they put it at the bottom, but I was using the scraps I had. So I liked a little bit thicker line, but still, I did not center it. I did offset it to the bottom a little bit. And then here, instead of using the wood grain side of these die cuts, I decided to go with the white, just for something different. So that's the first variation. And then here we're switching out the top or the middle panel and our little crossbar, and again with the white. I also, as you can see, that they didn't call for this, but my sentiment filled up the circles so much that I thought a scalloped piece behind that would work well. Very happy get well cards, don't you think? And then here is the final one. This is my favorite paper, so cute. And then we've got these. Very, very fun. Okay. Again, thanks for your time and attention. Bye for a bit.